Artificial Frontier Podcast.
Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're going deep, really deep, into the world of Jordan Maxwell.
Ooh, yeah, Maxwell.
Have you ever had that feeling like there's got to be more to the story?
Like way more than we're being told.
Yeah, like a whole hidden reality operating right under our noses? Well, that's kind of Maxwell's whole thing. He's spent like decades digging into this esoteric knowledge and all the hidden meanings behind the everyday stuff we take for granted.
And the symbols? Don't forget the symbols.
Oh, right, the symbols. We're talking secret societies, ancient wisdom, the whole 9 yards.
He finds them everywhere.
Exactly. And we've got a whole stack of his lectures and interviews to go through, all from YouTube. So get ready to have your mind blown wide open because we're going to tackle some seriously big questions.
Like buckle up, Buttercup, big questions.
Like, is there some kind of secret system controlling the world? Are the stories we've been told about religion the whole truth, or just a nice little fairy tale to keep us all in line? And what's the deal with ancient civilizations, the occult, and the people in power today? Like, is there a connection? Lots of connections.
Whether you're a diehard Maxwell fan or totally new to this guy, get ready for some serious aha moments. This stuff might just change how you see, well, everything.
No kidding. What gets me about Maxwell is he doesn't just give you the answers on a silver platter.
Oh, no, he makes you work for it.
Totally. He throws down the gauntlet. You know, makes you question, like, everything. Makes you think, what if there's this whole system shaping how we think, how we act, and we don't even realize it?
Okay, so let's talk about this hidden system. Maxwell uses the word occult a lot. Now, before you go picturing, like, dark robes and chanting and all that, he's not talking about, evil magic or anything.
Right, it's more like,
For him, occult just means hidden, stuff that's kept secret from, well, most of us.
hidden in plain sight. That's the key.
Okay, I'm with you. So what's the key to unlocking this hidden system?
Symbols, my friend. Symbols. Maxwell's all about the language of symbols. He's convinced they hold power, like real power, that most folks are totally oblivious to.
It's like secret codes, but on a global scale.
Exactly. And who's sending these coded messages?
Yeah, who are these puppet masters?
Well, Maxwell points the finger at the powers that be, the elite, the people calling the shots from behind the curtain.
Yeah.
He says they use these symbols to manipulate us, keep us in the dark while they pull the strings.
Okay, starting to see the matrix here. But how does this whole symbol thing play out in real life?
Oh, it's everywhere. Even the stuff we see every day. Like, think about those signature lines on checks.
Those little lines we scribble on.
Maxwell says they're not lines at all.
Wait, seriously. What are they then?
He claims it's microprinted text, like legal jargon and stuff.
Get out of here.
Seriously. He says next time you write a check, grab a magnifying glass, and you'll see it. We're agreeing to all this hidden stuff every time we sign our names.
So I'm signing away my firstborn every time I pay the electric bill? That's messed up.
It's wild, right? And he's got this whole other thing about how our names are written.
Okay, what about our names?
He says there's a difference between upper and lower case and all cappies. The first one's our real flesh and blood selves. The second one, that's our corporate self.
Yeah.
Like the system creates this corporate twin for each of us.
Yeah.
And that twin's the one bound by all the rules and laws.
Hold up, so I've got a secret corporate twin running around causing mayhem? That's kind of awesome. Speaking of the law, Maxwell drops this crazy statement. There is no law in this country that applies to you.
Right. Blew my mind when I first heard that.
How does that even work? What's the logic there?
Well, he argues that laws only apply to corporations, not individuals. It's like our individual rights are basically meaningless, and we're being governed through these corporate entities we never even agreed to.
So the legal system is just a big sham, an illusion.
That's how he sees it. He sees courts and all those legal procedures as tools to keep up this illusion of control. And get this, he even points to connections between courthouses and, like, Masonic lodges as proof that there's something fishy going on.
Ooh, secret societies. This is where it gets juicy.
Right. Maxwell loves connecting those dots.
So what's the Masonic connection? Are they like the masterminds behind the whole thing?
Maxwell points out that courthouses and Masonic lodges often have similar architecture, like those big columns, the imposing buildings. He sees those as symbols of authority. And then there's the gavel, used in both settings. He sees it as a Masonic symbol, like they've infiltrated the legal system.
Okay, so we're talking about a deeper level of power operating behind the scenes. Like, these courts aren't just upholding the law, they're enforcing the agenda of these secret groups.
That's exactly what he's suggesting. And it's not just about symbols. He's got concrete examples, too. Like, he talks about The Judges Association in Los Angeles says it operates as an unregistered tax-exempt organization, which to him is a big red flag, raises all sorts of questions about transparency in the justice system.
It's like he's pulling back the curtain, like in The Wizard of Oz, revealing a reality that's way different from what we've been told to believe. But of course, Maxwell doesn't stop there. He goes after religion too, especially Christianity, and that's where things get really interesting.
Oh yeah, religion's a big one for him. He dives right into those biblical interpretations, challenges everything we think we know. A classic example is his whole analysis of the word Yahweh.
Yahweh, that's like God's name, right? The big guy upstairs revealed to Moses.
Exactly. Supposed to represent God's eternal, unchanging nature.
Religion 101 stuff.
Right. But Maxwell, drawing on his conversations with this scholar Zacharias Sitchin, throws a major curveball. He says Yahweh is actually in the future tense.
Wait, future tense, so it's not I am who I am, but more like
I will be whoever I choose to be. Changes the whole game, right?
mind blown. This totally flips the script on the whole unchanging God idea. Like, God's still a work in progress. That's gotta ruffle some feathers.
Oh, definitely. It challenges those who take the Bible literally, for sure. It's like saying, hey, maybe God's still evolving, still figuring things out.
Wow, that's heavy stuff. Definitely makes you rethink everything you thought you knew about the divine. But you know Maxwell, he loves those big questions. And speaking of big questions, his personal experiences with UFOs and aliens, that's where things go next level.
This is where it gets really mysterious. It's not just theory anymore. He brings in his own firsthand encounters.
Okay, spill the beans.
Yeah.
What kind of alien encounters are we talking about? Did he meet E.T., get abducted? Tell us everything.
Okay, so one story that stands out is this alleged sighting of 7 glowing disc-shaped objects in the Nevada desert. And get this, it happened near Area 51.
7 glowing discs, Area 51. Now we're talking. Did he get any pictures?
No blurry photos, sadly. But he claims it was real, like life-changing, cementing his belief in extraterrestrials, for sure. And that's not all. He also tells this story about a friend of his who claimed to have encountered get this, a reptile alien.
A reptile alien? Hold up, I thought aliens were supposed to be like little gray dudes with big eyes. What did this reptilian being look like?
So according to the story, this thing was tall, muscular, with like a reptilian head. Not your typical alien, right? And get this, it all went down in a motel room. Like the creature just appeared out of thin air.
Out of thin air? This is getting crazy. Did his friend say what it wanted? Was it friendly? Or did it want to probe him?
Okay, so this is where it gets even weirder. The friend claims the reptile being cast some kind of spell. Like froze everyone in the room. No one could move or speak.
Whoa, creepy. Talk about a close encounter. Sounds like his friend walked away with more questions than answers. It's all so fascinating. Maxwell's experiences really make you question what's possible, you know? But he doesn't just stop at personal encounters. He goes even further, suggesting that there might be this hidden group of controllers, like puppet masters, pulling the strings of society from behind the scenes.
This is where we step into the realm of conspiracy theories. Maxwell's suggesting these controllers could be extraterrestrial beings with advanced technology who are, like, shaping human evolution. He even compares humanity to a culture in a test tube, meaning, you know, someone's experimenting on us.
Wait, so we're talking about puppet masters on a cosmic scale. Like, we're not really in control of our own destiny. That's a heavy thought, man.
It is, and he uses these intriguing stories to back it up. One story is about this chance meeting he had with an old man who accurately predicted something specific in Maxwell's life, like 17 years before it happened.
17 years in advance. That's some serious psychic stuff. Did the old man say how he knew? Was it a crystal ball? Tarot cards?
That's the thing the old man never explained. Just made the prediction, and it came true years later, down to the last detail. Maxwell takes this and other similar events as evidence of a controlling force, maybe even guiding him personally. Like he was meant to do this work.
That's wild, like destiny calling.
Yeah, and he even mentions meeting a woman who claimed to channel messages from extraterrestrials, like reinforcing his belief in a preordained mission.
This is all getting super complex and honestly a little freaky. If these controllers are shaping our evolution, what's their end game? Are they helping us evolve, or are we just pawns in some cosmic game?
The million-dollar questions, right? And Maxwell doesn't give us any easy answers. His work is all about making us question everything, thinking outside the box. And the idea of a higher power, like manipulating humanity, Maxwell finds hints of it everywhere. even in the Bible.
Okay, now we're talking biblical stuff. This I gotta hear. So he thinks there are hidden messages about aliens in the Bible.
Kind of. He goes deep into the Old Testament, specifically the book of Jeremiah. There are these passages that describe a pre-human world, like cities, animals, birds, the whole shebang, but no humans.
A world without us sounds kind of peaceful, but also a little creepy. What's Maxwell's take on it?
He sees it as a clue, a hint that extraterrestrials, or as the Bible calls them, the Elohim, were hanging out on Earth long before we showed up.
Elohim. Isn't that usually translated as God? Like, the one and only?
Yeah, but here's the twist. Elohim is actually plural. Maxwell suggests that the Old Testament isn't strictly monotheistic, the belief in just one God. He points to Elohim as evidence of multiple gods.
Multiple gods, like polytheism, like the ancient Greeks with their whole pantheon of gods.
Not exactly. Maxwell uses the term henotheistic. It means acknowledging that there are multiple gods, but choosing to worship just one. He's suggesting that the God of the Old Testament wasn't necessarily the only God, just the one the ancient Israelites decided to focus on.
So, like a divine popularity contest. This throws a whole new wrench into traditional religion. If there were other gods around, who were they? Did they interact with humans? I need answers.
Well, Maxwell suggests that these other gods, potentially those same extraterrestrial controllers we were talking about, played a role in shaping human civilization. He points to this idea of heroes with divine blood that pops up in cultures all over the world. Think Hercules, Gilgamesh, King Arthur, those larger-than-life figures with superpowers.
Wait, are you saying those legendary heroes might have been real people? Like maybe even hybrids of humans and these divine beings? That's straight out of mythology.
That's the theory. Maxwell even criticizes modern-day figures who claim divine right to rule, drawing a parallel to those ancient heroes who claimed divine lineage. He sees it as a pattern throughout history, a way for a select few to justify their power over others.
It all comes back to his critique of power structures, right? Whether it's ancient kings claiming divine right or modern-day elites using symbols and language to manipulate us, it's always about control. And Maxwell definitely doesn't shy away from criticizing those in power.
Oh no, he goes all in. He calls out the royal family, questions their authority, criticizes their lavish lifestyle while regular people are struggling. He even calls for a revolution, wants people to wake up and challenge the status quo.
Whoa, calling for a revolution. That's bold. He's not afraid to step on some toes. And his criticisms aren't limited to political figures. He takes on institutions too, especially religious ones.
He sees a lot of hypocrisy in organized religion. Points to corruption, abuse of power, you name it. He's especially critical of those televangelists, questions their motives and their lavish lifestyles, all funded by, donations from their followers.
Sounds like he's pretty disillusioned with organized religion, so is he saying spirituality is a sham?
Not exactly. It's not that he rejects spirituality or the idea of a divine presence. He's more concerned with the systems that humans have created around those concepts. He wants people to think for themselves, question the doctrines they've been taught, and find their own personal connection to the divine.
It's about reclaiming your spiritual autonomy, not just blindly following what you're told, which aligns perfectly with his emphasis on knowledge, always encouraging people to research, learn, educate themselves, and break free from these systems of control. And get this, he even sees our physical bodies as part of the system.
I know, right? He drops his bombshell. Your very body is a security on the New York Stock Exchange. He claims each person is assigned a monetary value over $6.5 million right now, and it's traded on the stock market.
Hold on, are you saying we're all talking commodities? Like our bodies are being traded like shares? How is that even possible?
He connects this to this sociological concept of the body social. It's basically about how individuals are interconnected within society. But Maxwell takes it literally, arguing that our bodies are assets owned by a larger entity, the corporation that he believes is really running the U.S. government.
Wait, the U.S. government is a corporation? That's a conspiracy theory I've heard before, but how does a government become a corporation?
Maxwell claims that the United States is a corporation established back in 1868 under the name United States Corporation. And he points out that this corporation requires its employees to be identified as citizens, which he believes signifies their contractual agreement to work for this corporation.
So when we're asked if we're U.S. citizens, we're actually confirming our employment status with this corporation. That's a wild interpretation. It all ties back to his belief that language is used to obscure reality, doesn't it?
Exactly. He's always encouraging people to pay attention to the words used in legal documents, financial transactions, even everyday conversations. He says they often contain hidden meanings and implications that most people completely miss.
Makes you want to carry a dictionary everywhere you go. Like we're all living in this linguistic matrix, manipulated by those who know the code.
Perfect analogy. And he backs it up with examples, like the subtle difference between a trial by jury and a jury trial. He argues they have totally different legal meanings. He also talks about the distinction between California state and the state of California, claiming they represent separate entities with different jurisdictions.
It's all about the nuances, the wordplay that most people wouldn't even notice. Maxwell's like a linguistic detective, uncovering the hidden truths buried within language itself.
His attention to detail goes beyond just language. He also digs into financial systems, criticizes the banking system, arguing that it's designed to keep people in debt and control the flow of wealth. He even claims that Americans, legally speaking, can't actually pay a bill.
What? If I can't pay my bills, what am I doing with all this money?
He makes this distinction between paying a bill and discharging a debt. According to him, Americans can only discharge a debt, which is a legal term, means fulfilling a contractual obligation. He's pointing out that the whole financial system is based on debt and obligation. It's like we're trapped in this cycle of financial servitude.
Like he's shining a light on the gears and levers of society, showing us how the system works, or maybe how it's designed to work against us.
Right, and he doesn't stop there. He even dives into the symbolism of money itself. He claims the U.S. dollar is loaded with occult imagery, like reflecting this hidden sister he believes governs the world.
Okay, now you're talking secret symbols on our money. Lay it on me. What kind of symbols?
He points to the Great Seal of the United States, the one on the back of the dollar bill. The eagle, the pyramid, the all-seeing eye, the Latin mottos, the whole shebang. He says they're all packed with hidden meanings rooted in ancient occult traditions.
Break it down for me. What kind of hidden messages is he seeing in those symbols?
Well, he interprets the eagle as a symbol of the sun, a common theme in a lot of ancient religions. He also points out that the eagle only has two wings, representing the two-party political system. But both wings are controlled by the same brain, suggesting a hidden force manipulating both sides.
Whoa, that's powerful. Like the two wings representing the left and right are ultimately controlled by a single entity. Fits perfectly with his view of this hidden system pulling the strings.
Exactly. And then there's the pyramid, linked to ancient Egypt and this idea of a hierarchical power structure. And the unfinished pyramid with the all-seeing eye at the top. He sees that as a symbol of an incomplete system, like it's still being built and controlled by these unseen forces.
Sounds a lot like his concept of the New World Order, a global system of control orchestrated by a select few. And those Latin mottos on the dollar bill, Annuit Coeptus and Novus Ordo Seclorum, seem to fit right in with that idea.
Totally. Maxwell definitely thinks so. Annuit Coeptus means he favors our undertakings, and Novus Ordo Seclorum translates to New Order of the Ages. He sees them as a declaration of intent, like the controllers are telling us their plans right on our money.
It's like those symbols and mottos are a secret message hidden in plain sight, and most of us never even notice. So if he's finding these meanings on the dollar bill, where else might they be hiding?
He thinks they're everywhere. In architecture, corporate logos, religious iconography, even the language we use every day. He wants us to wake up, look beyond the surface, question everything we think we know.
That's a pretty radical way of looking at things. It really makes you wonder, are we seeing the whole picture or just a carefully crafted illusion? Honestly, it's a bit overwhelming to think about, even a little scary.
It can be. But that's the thing about Maxwell's work. It forces you to confront those uncomfortable truths. Question everything you believe. Consider possibilities that might challenge your entire worldview.
It's a deep dive into the unknown, a journey that's both fascinating and unsettling.
And sometimes, a little unsettling is exactly what we need to shake things up and see the world with fresh eyes. But with all this information, all these theories, all these questions Maxwell throws out, where do we go from here? What's the takeaway for, the average person trying to make sense of it all?
Yeah, it's a lot to take in. What are the key points we should remember from Maxwell's work? What should we be paying attention to? What should we be questioning?
One of the most important takeaways is the power of knowledge. Maxwell stresses this over and over again. Do your research, keep learning, understand the hidden systems that shape our lives. He believes knowledge is power, and by understanding the mechanisms of control, we can start to break free from their influence.
It's like, don't just sit back and be a victim. Take control. Empower yourself.
That's it, and he doesn't want us to go it alone either. He's big on the idea of community. Maxwell believes we can do so much more when we work together, supporting each other, sharing knowledge.
Drink at the numbers, right.
Totally. Challenging each other to grow.
So find your tribe, your people. Connect, share ideas, and create change together.
Exactly. And speaking of growth, another big thing for Maxwell is education. And not just, sitting in a classroom. He's talking about lifelong learning, exploring new ideas, questioning what you think you know, constantly expanding your understanding of the world.
So stay curious, stay open to new possibilities, never stop learning.
You got it. He even encourages people to study etymology,
Etymology.
the origins of words. He's convinced that by understanding the roots of language, we can gain deeper insights into how concepts and ideas have been shaped, sometimes manipulated, throughout history.
It goes back to that idea of language as a tool of control. If we understand how language works, we can see through the BS, right?
Absolutely. He even suggests that by changing our language, we can change our reality. He argues that words have power. And by consciously choosing our words, we can shift our mindset, create new possibilities, and even manifest positive change in our lives.
So it's not just about what we think, but about how we express those thoughts. Words are powerful tools.
They are. And one final thing that's woven throughout Maxwell's work is this idea that the universe isn't random. He suggests there's this intelligence at work, something we can't fully grasp yet, orchestrating events on a grand scale.
This brings us back to those controllers, doesn't it? Is this intelligence good? Bad? Are we just bit players in some grand cosmic drama?
Maxwell doesn't claim to have all the answers. He leaves us with more questions than answers, really. But he sparks that curiosity, encourages us to explore the unknown, to seek those answers ourselves.
To keep an open mind, question everything, and never be afraid to explore the rabbit hole. It's been a wild ride, exploring the world through Jordan Maxwell's eyes. Hidden symbols, secret societies, alien encounters, you name it. It's definitely a lot to process, but it leaves you thinking, doesn't it?
It does. It really makes you question everything. And as we wrap up our deep dive into Jordan Maxwell's world, I think we're left with this one big question. If the world is a stage, what roles are we playing? Are we just actors following a script? Or do we have the power to improvise, create our own destinies, and shape the future of humanity?
That's a question for each of us to answer. A journey we all have to take. And the choice, well, the choice is ours. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, everyone. Keep those minds open, keep questioning, and keep exploring those rabbit holes. Until next time.
Artificial Frontier Podcast.